I'm first recording this podcast to experiment a little bit about recording a podcast with photo booth from Mac, because I don't own a camera for filming, and I want to name this podcast Knitting Abroad. So I'm coming to you from Vienna, Austria, where I live at the moment and where I knit and where I'm working at the moment, and I want to move to Sweden. So I'm going to move to Sweden, and I'm taking a plane on 16th of July, and I want to record a podcast, one episode before I'm going, because I want to there's nothing use into recording a podcast at the first day of moving, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to record one episode before I go, and then record another episode when I'm living there. So this would be a podcast mostly about knitting. I don't think that I'm a very experienced professional knitter, but I'm knitting for my soul, I guess. That's the thing. I'm wearing one of my finished objects. I don't know if I can speak it right, because every time I'll do it, it's called Exploration Station. Yay, I made it! So it's a little bit huge, so it doesn't fit into the screen, but I love the holes. It's the Exploration Station, I made it again, from Steve West, and I made it out of yarn from Fadenbunt. It's indie dyer from Austria, from Upper Austria, I guess, and she dyed this yarn especially for me. I have a lot of colorways in here, so I told her, please do it for me like Colors of the Sea. So I got this blue one. There's a little bit of turquoise. It's green. There you have the brioche section, where you have the camera doesn't take it nicely. The blue and the turquoise one. And the black one is her standard colorway. It's called Raven, and I think it's very beautiful because it's a little bit of a radiant colorway. I have definitely to do something about the light, so I guess I'm gonna dress every minute I'm recording right now. I just want to experiment a little bit. So what to talk about it, I was knitting before this huge project, mostly stockinette and nothing else. Maybe a little bit of, I don't know how you call it, when you knit one row knits and then one row purl, so in the round, knits, purl. I remember when I was knitting during my studies that I knitted a hat with some lace pattern, but I gave it away or something like that because it went so big so that I couldn't wear it. But I was teaching myself, no, I wasn't teaching myself. My best friend, I have to talk about my best friend. My best friend is Sissy, and she's also a teacher, and she's a very professional knitter. I guess she would call her an experienced knitter, but I would call her definite professional knitter, because everything she does she makes it wonderful. Her gauge is very neat, and everything she makes, it's wonderful. She can knit, she can sew. She's making wonderful project bags. I guess I'm gifted one about today or tomorrow. Don't know yet. But I love everything she does, and yeah, for going abroad I get a bubble hat from her. I'm so excited. So yeah, back to the exploration station. Oh, again, a third time, I don't believe it. So she taught me to knit brioche, and she was like talking me over to do this one, because yeah, she said, oh, we're gonna need the exploration station, and she has also a best friend she called Eva, and we were knitting it, like all three of us were knitting it. And although there was much to do in this month, we finished it in almost a month. So for me it took a month, but for them it took 3 weeks or so. But I was knitting it out of 100% merino superwash from Fadenbunt. It's on the Atelier Citron base, I guess. The yarn base of her shop Fadenbunt is called Naturtalent, and Naturtalent. I don't know if it's going to be translated in her shop also. So she has an Etsy shop, and she is very friendly. So I was very grateful that she did that. She did the dyeing for me, because I was asking her the question about can you recommend me some yarn for this exploration station like Stephen West, and she said, yes, you can, you just have to choose the base, and then I make you some examples. But then she said, oh, I'm gonna dye this week, and if you want I can dye you something up. And yeah, I said, oh my gosh, for me dyeing, especially for me, I wouldn't believe it. And then yes, she dyed. See, I cannot stop showing off this thing. I'm so proud of me. So yeah, I'm putting it away. There is another finished object which I made out of some stashed yarn that I found, and I forgot to bring it with me. So I kind of improvised it. It's summer top. It looks a bit odd if you show it like this, but I'm very proud of my improvised short row and I-cord bind off thing for the neckline. I don't know if you see it. As I said, it was improvised, so there is not much about me doing these things, but it was kind of fun because I didn't block it out so good, so you don't see there should be 3 stitches and then a hole, and then 3 stitches and then a hole, and 3 stitches and then a hole, and I wasn't blocking it enough because I had not much of space to do it. So I guess I'm blocking it again. I don't know. Can you do this? So I'm gonna just do it. So this was the finished object section. I have another finished objects which are socks, but I gifted them to my friend Marta, and I made one for my mother too, one pair for my mother too, and I gifted them already. So yeah, I'm a little bit of knitting like hell at the moment, but yeah, I have. So I'm moving on to what's on my needles. I have on my needles, oh, it's there, I'm already finished. no, not already, almost, that's a word. I'm not native English speaking, so if I make mistakes, I'm very sorry about it. So the work in progress I would like to show to you is living in my Grossa Sheepy project bag. I ordered it from, I guess it came from Australia. I have to look it up again. So I love her bags. There are cats on it. And I see it's, you can see it here, it's Grossa Sheepy. So I love them because they have a, I don't know how you call it in English, but you see what it is, huh? So there are some buttons to clip it off. And there it is. The project which I was making, which was starting when I thought about going to Sweden, I guess. So it's a kind of a yoke pullover, and it's almost finished, and it's here. So it was the first time I did color work, and I'm very proud of me. I guess there are mostly things I'm proud of at the last month or two. So if you can see, there is a yoke. It's a pattern, a free pattern from Garn Studio Drops Design. It's called Mina. I will put the link in the show notes. And yeah, you see, I didn't manage to contrast the colors because I was making it in a cotton viscose blend yarn, because I wanted to make it for the warmer month in Sweden when I'm there. And the arms are missing yet, but I'm binding off the body at the moment, and then I am going to make the arms. They're going to be about short arms like this, because if it's going to be fall in Sweden, I just wear a t-shirt and it does something. But next thing, I'm very proud. So if you're wondering about this strand of yarn, so I made a little mistake about increasing the stitches at the bust line, because I was reading the pattern about, I guess, like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, so that I don't make any mistakes. And if you do that, I think you know that you make mistakes. So I was misreading it, and instead of increasing every 3.5 centimeters, I was increasing every 2.5 centimeters increasing. So I guess you can see it. I didn't make the markers off. So if when you are making the armholes, then you start to increase stitches about like here, and you have to do it 10 times. And for the small size, because I like very fitted cloths, I made the small size, although I have a bust like medium, I think. I increased the stitches about 2.5 centimeters, which has the good point that it would be a little bit more loose around the bust. But yeah, then I recognized it, and I thought, oh my god, so it would be like this, and I don't want the pullover like this. So my best friend Sissy, which is an experienced knitter, told me to get this strand of yarn in it, in case I have to frog it, because it's going to be that huge. But I was improvising at the time and made the increases then every 4 centimeters, so that I got, I guess, not so much loose fit. But I didn't design it, I didn't modify it to make it fitted, so it would be loose at all, but not so loose if I had made the increases every 2.5 centimeters, one by one. So this is it, almost done. And there's another work in progress, but also almost finished. So these are my Owlie socks. They're in a bag. I don't want to show you because it's like working all the pieces of fabrics that I had, and I was improvising and just going to my sewing machine and making it. But there are the Owlie socks. I'm blanking off the name from the designer. I don't have it with me right now, but I'm putting it in the show notes. It's a free pattern. And these are the Owlie socks. You can see the owls. Again, my best friend Sissy gifted this pattern for me in about... At the moment, I'm getting it. So, next time I record an episode, I will have all my things with me, and it's gonna be great. So, it's from Julie Elswick's Suchomel, and it's from Ravelry, and it's called the Owlie socks. My best friend gifted me to my 30th birthday bullet journal with things in it, and oh, it's so a wonderful design. Maybe I'll show it to you at the end of the episode. And she made this pattern book for me. It's so wonderful, and I'm almost finished with the second sock. It was the first time I was making cables. I thought, oh my god, cables, that won't be good. No, I'm not with cables. They're not for me, and yes. But then I got a little bit of practice. Yay! And almost done. So that's the second sock. I only have to do one more owl. It's a, how do you call it? Gusset heel. I have to look up all the phrases. I'm not good at it. I'm becoming better. I'm learning. So I only have to make one owl and then go to the tip. Yeah, and heel, flap, and gussets. That's the word. So I'm very proud of making cables. And at the second sock I didn't make a mistake on the small cables, which you can see there. I'm so proud. Yes, I'm very proud of me at the moment. It's no mistake in that. And the owls are wonderful, and the beads are from my best friend too. And I want to talk about the needles I'm using. So all my life until I started knitting again, I was using like DPNs with 20 centimeters. And then I found out there are smaller ones. I can't tell you how wonderful it was to choose 15 centimeter needles for sock knitting. It was amazing. So I'm knitting on the Royals from Knit Pro. They're wooden at the inside. I don't know if you see it, and have metal tips. So many of you, which I'm following with the podcasts, they sometimes tell about the carbons or about the interchangeables with metal tips from Knit Pro, and we're not liking it because of the yeah, when you I will cut this out. When you move your finger through the back of the needles, but I'm thinking that with the royals it's smooth. I tried the carbons and I felt it. It was... I don't know how they do this. I think that's the same principle with these and the carbons, and I don't know, these are smoother and I don't know why, but they're wonderful. I'm liking it. And they're living in a Needlecozy. My best friend Sissy. Yeah, she plays a huge role in my life. She made this for me. It's one of her first Needlecozys, and as I told you before, she's making project bags. And at the next episode, or maybe when I'm editing, and then today I'm gonna visit her. Maybe I get it today, so when I'm editing it, maybe I will make another record for the presentation of her project bag. So she made this Needlecozy for me, and I'm very happy to have it because now my needles don't fall out. It's so wonderful. I was knitting at the, I guess it was the Metro or something, and I put the project out of my bag, and oh my gosh, everything fell down from the needles because I was knitting for my father, and I was knitting on about 4mm needles, and it was very loose. I guess it was decay weight, some cheap but beautiful yarn from a local store, Sock Yarn, I don't remember which one, and yeah, put it away. And I was oh my gosh, everything fell off, but I managed in the Metro to pick it all up, and that was wonderful because I didn't have to frog like a thing. So yeah, that's on my needles, and I'm going to tell you about some projects that I'm going to make. So after I guess I have to name the section stash acquisitions, but I think I would get a little bit out of the row and tell and call the sections to be knitted. So I'm wanting to knit more shawls. When I was knitting the exploration station, it was like, yes, a huge project, and I don't know how to finish it, and it's so much stitches and I don't know, and then I was knitting and knitting, and I got a little bit, yeah, it was relaxing. I like knitting vanilla, plain stockinette, and I got more and more into the sections, into the patterns. I got to fell in. I fell into it. It got, that's the word. It got intuitive knitting, and I'm very thankful because Sissy is right every time she says something to me, and sometimes I'm telling her, no, it's not, it's your thinking of this problem and I'm not into it, and yeah, she was right after all, because after about 3 sections of patterns from Stephen West, I was cabling like this. And yeah, it's all practice, but I wasn't believing her, so she was right after all. And she was also right with, I'm going into knitting a lot. And I want to knit 2 shawls from Helen Stewart. I kind of fell in love with her patterns, and I'm going to knit the Snowmelt shawl which was a mystery knit along, and I'm going to knit the Rune shawl. And I was purchasing some Madelinetosh yarn because I fell in love with the colorways, and I kind of told me I have to treat me with something like exclusive yarn. Everyone is talking about it, and I want to have some exclusive yarn. And I bought from a German shop because there was not so much shipping costs. I bought 3 colorways of yarn. So again, I have to move and get the yarn. So as I promised before, next episode I will have all my things down below, and yes. Next, another project bag from Girls to Sheepy. There are alpacas on it, I love it, and this is a zipper bag with pink, and it's wonderful. So I purchased 3 colorways of Madelinetosh, and I've caked them up because I wanted to cast on the shawl, and then I bought them because I wanted to use them for the Snowmelt shawl. But then I talked a lot to my best friend Sissy, yes, again, and she said to me, so I don't think that they are contrasting enough for this shawl, and so I'm gonna show you the colors, and I'll insert the pattern because I am going to make the Rune shawl out of it. So I have these 2 skeins. So it's Esoteric and it's Abiquiu. I don't know how, if I tell correctly. So what I love about these yarns is I love this dark blue. It's kind of funny because my favorite colors are black and dark red, and at the moment I'm knitting so much with blue and a little bit lighter colors, so yeah, that's not typical for me. But yeah, it's summer, so maybe that's the thing. And Abiquiu has this turquoise speckles in it, and I think there are so much matching this yarn. It's Esoteric, and it's fingering yarn. It's light merino. It's called Torch Merino Light, 100% merino wool. It's fingering weight 420 yards and 384 meters. And this is Madelinetosh. This is the Esoteric blue one. Yes, and for I wanted to make the Snowmelt shawl, I need a 3rd colorway, and I fell in love with this. Oh, sorry. So it's Optic, also a merino light from Madelinetosh, and I don't know what I will make out of it, but I guess this is right. I have to make the Rune shawl out of the other 2 ones because we were at a knitting round, I guess the English word is for it, at Lille Boutique in Vienna. And the Lille Boutique is owned by a wonderful person from Pura, from Denmark, and she has all the drops yarns and some yarns from the Pura, I guess, and the yarn shop is beautiful, and they have so these couches where you can knit together with other people, and they're meeting up at Mondays, and it was a wonderful it was a wonderful time to spend with Sissy and a friend of ours, which is called Thomas, and we were knitting there and meeting up with all the friendly women there. And yeah, her mother-in-law is from Denmark, and so I'm going to move to Sweden, and I was talking about them if they knew like some people which are native in Sweden, so that I can learn the language a little bit faster, because I want to work in Sweden, and I know that maybe I won't be able to work as a teacher because I'm not fluent in Swedish, but I'm learning, and they said to me, yeah, there's like the church, that there is a church a few streets nearby, which has Swedish, I don't know the word in English. So when the people gather around the church, and in German it's Gemeinde. I think we'll look it up and insert the English words down below. And there have also knitting rounds, and there are so many people which are native in Swedish, and I left my phone number and my email address there, and I hope I will get a call soon from the one woman who is knitting with the knitting round at Lille Boutique. And yeah, there I purchased my yarn for the Snowmelt shawl from Helen Stewart. I was there with Sissy, and Sissy said, so let's go crazy with the colors. You are blending everything when you're knitting, so let's get crazy. You're going to Sweden, you are very brave, so be brave in colors. There they are. It's blue, it's green, and it's red, dark red. It's not going on the camera well because it looks a little bit like pink, but it's a rusty red. I have to do something about the camera, or maybe I'm investing in some real camera or borrow it from my family, I don't know. So there are the 3 colorways. I have 2 skeins each. It's the Drops Lace Colorway Unicolour, I guess, and it's a wonderful, there it is, 70% alpaca, 30% silk. My best friend Sissy was like cuddling the yarn. It was wonderful. She was there and was thinking about getting some sweater quantity for a sweater she's wanting to knit, but she was alpaca, silk, oh wonderful, but she didn't fall in love with the lace section. She doesn't like knitting with lace a lot, so she was falling in love with some, I guess it's 4-ply, I don't know, I have to ask her. So that's all from knitting. I want to include a bladder segment because this podcast would be called Knitting Abroad, and at the next episode I am in Sweden, I guess. Maybe I am able to record an episode before it, but I don't think so because there's so much work to do. Cleaning my apartment from everything I own so that I move out, and yeah, you see there a lot of books, and there are much more, and I have to package it all up and find a place where I can store the things, because yeah, I'm going to Sweden. So I want to chat a little bit about going to Sweden, about the emotions I have about this, and how there's so many people helping with me with it. So I I guess I have to speak a little less fast, but that's not me. I'm very surprised that I make it so fluent in English, because when I'm talking to someone I'm blanking mostly the words, like now. There was one of my best friends was married about a few weeks ago, and I was talking to an English speaking, I guess they were from America, and I couldn't remember the word baker. It was so embarrassing because we were talking about the very tasty bread we had for the feast, and I couldn't manage to find the word. It was very embarrassing. But enough of it. Going to Sweden. So going to Sweden is my... I love to go to Sweden I guess for about 10 years I have the wish of my heart to go abroad and to spend a little time in another country, because I love traveling. Yes, I know it's a difference, but I'm coming to the point, I swear. I love experiencing, I love learning, and I lost my heart, I guess, about 8 years ago when I first traveled to Sweden. My boyfriend at the time and me, we were going with interrailing, and we were to Sweden 2 weeks, and about 2 years after that we were going to Sweden and Norway, and we were spending my birthday weekends first time in Helsinki in Finland, and then the next time in Göteborg, Sweden, and I totally lost my heart there. To there. Göteborg, it's my dream city. I love the colors in the summer. I love the not colors in the winter. I love the people there. They're so friendly, and yes, so I was thinking there has to be a change in my life, because I haven't had a good time the last few months. There were many situations which I couldn't cope so much. So I was wondering, the man of my sister gave me a book. It was about, I guess, 14 years ago or so. The title is called When You Want What You Never Had, You Have to Do What You Never Did. I don't know if it's the right translation, but I was thinking about this sentence a lot, and I was thinking I have to make a change in everything, because I'm stuck at not feeling well, and I have to do what I wanted, and I have to do what I want for me, and it was a huge step, and almost my whole family, not all of them, but most of my family are backing my back, and they stand by me and help me, and I'm very grateful for that, because I have 2 sisters and they have their families too, and we are a family which is packed at one place in Vienna, and yeah, that's hard for them when I'm going to go 1 year to Sweden, because they can't reach me. they will reach me about with the internet, but they can't come over and drink some coffee with me or something like that. But yeah, I'm very excited to go. I have a lot of research to do, and if you're wondering what this noise was, it was I forgot to turn off my notifications from my computer, so ding! This was a message from my sister, which is currently in Paris. I was so proud that I didn't ask her to bring some yarn for me, because she's only there about 3 days, and I wanted to have her time for her and her husband and for nothing else. So I was very proud of me that I refused to ask her to bring me some La Bien-Aimée. I'm not calling her to do this. I'm strong. So I guess, oh, I see it's about 40 minutes that I was talking to you. It's a lot. It's a lot of editing I have to do. So this was the first episode. I wish you happy knitting. And yeah, we'll see you again. I hope then in Sweden. And bye bye!